Have you ever felt like you're trying to build something, maybe something amazing, but you've got no instructions? That's kind of what English grammar can feel like, right? But what if I told you there's actually a simple blueprint for it all? Okay, let's get right into it.
So, is English grammar just a big confusing puzzle? I think a lot of us feel that way. You know, all these weird rules and exceptions. But here's the thing. It's not so much a puzzle as it is a system. Think of it more like a beautifully designed machine where all the parts just click together. The real goal isn't just to memorize rules, it's to actually understand how that machine works.
And that right there is the key. So, let's just forget the whole puzzle idea for a minute. Instead, we're going to focus on one single core blueprint. This thing is the foundation for pretty much every sentence you will ever say or write in English. And seriously, once you see it, you'll start seeing it everywhere.
All right, Section 1, the sentence blueprint. Let's dig into that core foundation.
So, okay, what are we actually building with? The sentence. That's our basic block. Now, the official definition says it's a group of words that expresses a complete thought. You know, it can be a statement, a question, a command, whatever. The main thing to remember is it's a single, complete unit of meaning.
And here it is, the master plan, the secret blueprint. Subject, verb, object, or SVO for short. It's so simple. Someone or something, that's your subject, does an action, that's the verb, to something else, that's the object. This little sequence, it's basically the DNA of the English language.
Let's look at a real example. Paul is a good man. So who are we talking about? Paul. That's our subject. What's the action or state of being? Is. That's our verb. And what is he? A good man. That part functions as the object, telling us more about Paul. See? A perfect, simple blueprint in action.
Okay, here's another one. A really classic example. Roberto bought a new car. Let's break it down. Who did the action? Roberto. Subject. What did he do? He bought something. Verb. And what did he buy? A new car. Object. Simple as that. That is the SVO foundation in its absolute purest form.
All right, Section 2 is all about building bigger sentences by connecting our blueprints. So, once you've got that basic SVO block down, you can start putting them together to build bigger, way more interesting stuff. It's kind of like snapping together Lego bricks to build a whole castle. Let's see how it works.
So there are basically 4 levels of sentences we can build. We start with simple, then move up to compound, complex, and even compound complex. We're going to see how you can take 2 of those simple blueprint sentences and stick them together to make a compound sentence. And then we'll see how you can link a main idea with a smaller dependent one to build a complex sentence.
First up, the compound sentence. This is your first level up. You're literally just taking 2 of those SVO blueprints and gluing them together. So you take one complete thought, like I caught the ball, and another one like I gave it to my younger brother, and you connect them with the simple word like and. 2 simple sentences become one bigger compound sentence.
Now, a complex sentence is a bit different. This is where things get really interesting. See, in a complex sentence, one part of it can't actually stand on its own. Take the phrase, because his friend hid his car key. By itself, it doesn't really mean anything, right? It's a fragment. It depends on the main part of the sentence, my brother broke the window. When you put them together, you get this amazing cause and effect relationship. It's a really powerful structure.
Okay, let's move on to Section 3, statements, questions, and negatives. We've talked about how to build sentences, but what about changing what they do? How do you change a sentence's whole function? Well, it turns out you can flip a statement into a question or make it negative with just a couple of tiny, simple changes.
Just look at how beautifully this works. You start with a basic statement, she is happy. Want to make it negative? You just pop in one little word, not. She is not happy. Want to make it a question? You just flip the first 2 words. Is she happy? It's amazing, right? The big takeaway here is that our core blueprint is so flexible. You can do so much with it.
And this brings me to one of my absolute favorite little tricks in English, the tag question.
I just love this description of it. It's like a small barnacle that just clings to the end of a sentence. It's this tiny little phrase you tack on that magically turns a statement into a question, usually because you're looking for someone to agree with you. And you can see the pattern so clearly here. If you start with a positive statement, like, you went to the store, you add a negative tag, didn't you? And if you start with a negative, like you're not coming, you add a positive tag, are you? It's this perfect balanced little system for checking in and getting confirmation.
All right, Section 4 is all about adding style and emotion. So far, it's all been about the nuts and bolts, the structure, the function. But now let's talk about adding some spice, some personality. How do we make our sentences exclamatory to really show how we feel?
This is where we get to inject pure emotion into our language. It's the exclamatory sentence. They're usually short, they're punchy, and they always end with that super important exclamation mark. Things like, "What a beautiful day," or "I'm so excited," or even just one word, "help," or "wow." Notice how they don't need to be complex. Their power comes from raw, direct feeling.
Okay, on to our last big section, mastering if-then scenarios. For this final piece of the puzzle, we're looking at one of the most powerful tools you have for building sentences, the conditional. This is how we talk about all those what-if situations, possibilities, things we're dreaming about, and the consequences of actions.
So, there are basically 3 main conditional structures, and each one has a very specific job. The first one is for stuff that's a real possibility, something that might actually happen in the future. The second is for unreal hypothetical stuff, kind of like daydreaming. And the third one is super cool. It lets us look back and speculate about how the past might have been totally different.
Let's check out the first type, which is all about real possibilities. If I study hard, I will pass my test. See how that works? The if part, the condition, is in the present tense. If I study, and the result is in the future, I will pass. It's a straightforward cause and effect for something that could really happen.
Okay, now for the fun one. Hypothetical situations. This is the one we use for dreaming. If I were rich, I would travel the world. Now, notice that key word there, were. If I were. We don't say if I was. That little change to were is called the subjunctive, and it's like a secret code that tells the listener, hey, we're not talking about reality anymore, we're in a what-if world. And then the result part uses would. It's a beautiful structure for imagining. So let's bring it all back. We started this whole journey with just one simple blueprint, subject, verb, object, the absolute bedrock, the core of how we communicate in English. And from there, we saw how by just connecting, tweaking, and stretching that one simple idea, we can build literally anything. We can build a simple question, we can build an emotional exclamation, we can even build these incredible, complex what-if worlds. From one tiny blueprint to a complete masterpiece of communication.
So now, that blueprint is yours. The foundation is solid, the tools are right there in your hands. So I guess there's really only one question left to ask. What are you going to build with it?